All right, everyone, here we are, game number 3 in this epic showdown between Roxka's BratOk and WhiteRa. So, Protoss versus Terran. This time we are on Shakur's Plateau. And again, this is game number 3 in this showdown. This is going to be quite exciting. First 2 games have been absolutely riveting. WhiteRa did manage to pull away game number 1, and game number 2, of course, did go to BratOk. Some excellent management and a counterattack. Just a wonderful drop from BratOk inside of the expansion and main of WhiteRa, absolutely obliterating WhiteRa's economy. And as a result, WhiteRa, with no mining, wasn't able to reinforce the attack, and BratOk was just able to fend off that attack and absolutely devastate. So great play between both players. Going to be interested to see how this game plays out. We can see these destructible rocks could very well come into play in this game, that making that rush distance between the 2 bases quite short. Also, would be effective. 2 things here. We would see some drops that could be quite effective, again, with that relatively short air distance. Also, going for some early game void rays. Now, the only concern, I suppose, with void rays is that once those rocks are down, it's going to be really hard to maneuver them and do any sort of harassment. There isn't really any space behind, so that makes those air units a little bit less effective. He could, of course, harass the expansion quite a bit, but anyways, that is neither here nor there. Let's just keep an eye on what the players do and then talk about it from that point forward. Scout going out right now for WhiteRa. Going to be moving on out, and is he going to be catching BratOk's position? Let's see if he goes up and to the left or down and to the left. Either way, he will be scouting BratOk relatively shortly, and it looks like he is intending, in fact, on going down and to the left, so he will be catching BratOk right away. Going to be moving on in, doing some harassment, doing a little bit of damage there, and here goes that scout right now, moving out at that 14 supply, and then that 15th SCV building right after that, and scout going to be moving on down, and it looks like that, in fact, is rallied over to WhiteRa's base as well. So both players going to be catching their opponent almost immediately with that first scouting unit. And are we going to be coming out with the Zealot right away, or are we going to be waiting until after that Cybercore? I think we may be waiting until after that Cybercore. Yes, we are. Cybercore going to be dropped right now, and then the Zealot will be coming after that. Marine making its way on out right now. WhiteRa forced to pull back with that first scouting probe. And we actually only have 2 guys on the gas right now, so not going to be going quite as gas heavy, concentrating a little bit more on those minerals. So that is, of course, quite interesting. I'm almost 100% positive that this isn't a mistake by him, and he in fact does only want 2 guys on the gas, again allowing him to focus a little bit more on those minerals. Maybe going to be going for that early expansion again, quite possible. That is definitely an option for him, but let's see what he intends on doing. Cybernetics Core just about finished, again starting out with that Reaper. Hopefully this game he doesn't lose it to that first Stalker. In each and every one of the games so far, that first Reaper has died to the Stalker almost immediately without doing pretty much any damage, any harassment, anything like that. Now, we do have Pylon right here on the edge, and that, of course, is going to allow him to warp in units right there, making a little bit of shorter reinforcements for a push or for some sort of early defense there as well. Warp Gate Research making its way on in. Second assimilator finally being dropped there at 27. That is actually incredibly late for a second assimilator. 27 supply. Yeah, that is very, very late right there. So WhiteRa definitely in getting that late assimilator, not going to be seeing a gas-heavy build. First Reaper making its way on out. Did I just state the incredibly obvious there? I must sound like a huge dummy. We are seeing that 1-Rax fast expand again here from BratOk. So BratOk going to be he's obviously really comfortable with that 1-Rax fast expand against Toss, and going to be continuing to do that. And look at this, Stalker moving right to the corner of the base that the Reaper is making its way on. This has been an epic show match for the past 3 games between the Reaper and the Stalker. Let's see who will prevail this time. Now, the Stalker's always going to win, but obviously the Reaper can try to escape or make its way around and not die, hopefully. I mean, all I want you to do right now, Reaper, is not die. If you can move into that base and not die, I will be thrilled, and I will give you a trophy. You just got selected. Are you going to move in? Nope, not yet. Here we go. Moving down with that Zealot. Going to be taking a couple shots, maybe just that one at the SCV. Probe moving on down as well, trying to take out that SCV. Nice microing of the SCV. A great job there by BratOk. Going to be moving in and trying to scout the expansion that will likely be going down in just one moment. And it looks like we're going to be seeing again that 3-gate expo from WhiteRa. So moving on in, trying to catch that expansion. Stalker moving down, taking a couple shots. Does it get away? It does not. Doesn't get away, SCV. But unfortunately as well, he didn't manage to catch that expo. And there's the Reaper, in fact, going to be taking out the Sentry. Oh yeah, 1 kill before dying to the Stalker again. Get away. Get away. Unbelievable. Look at that. He gets the trophy. I don't know what it is, but he's going to get it. I will send him a trophy of sorts. If he could live through the entire game as well, that'd be really awesome. But look at that Reaper getting away with 4 HP, managing to kill that Sentry as well. He has paid for himself right now, most certainly. Moving around, some excellent maneuvering. Going to be trying to grab that probe. Quite possible. All right, enough of paying attention to that. Let's see what's going on here in the base. We do have that 3 racks moving on out from BratOk. We've got that 1 bunker at the front. Was a little bit worried about early pushes. Here comes that expansion for BratOk. Probably going to want to move his bunker over here. There's that salvage going down. And look at that right there. Bunker going down. I am just amazing when it comes to predicting things in StarCraft. But look at this. We're going to be seeing a push right now from WhiteRa. Now, BratOk fully aware of this. Scouting with that Reaper. Going to be trying to drop that pylon as quickly as possible. We have that Stalker moving forward. And oh no, is the Reaper going to die to the Stalker? I think it might. The epic show match between these two. And bam. Reaper goes down. But you know what? This time he paid for himself. So push going down right now for BratOk. Epic force fields going down for WhiteRa. Taking a few shots of BratOk's units before he manages to get that bunker up. Yes, he does manage to get up a little bit in time. Gonna help him defend against this quite a bit. Wants to pull some guys down to repair that if at all possible. Okay, so a bunch of, actually, whoa, way more than you need there. Tons of SCVs going down to try to repair that bunker. I'm gonna be repairing it on up and then pushing back. But look at this. Obviously, WhiteRa is fed up with his buddy over here, BratOk, and gonna be pushing out for some really early aggression. This proxy pylon mounting up all of his forces, very, very zealot heavy. Now, do we have that concussive shell? We don't really need it. Obviously, that stim pack is enough. No, so concussive shell isn't going. We still have that very, very marine heavy build here from BratOk. Again, obviously very comfortable with that. Another depot going down. Again, trying to control the flow of traffic into his base. Going to be forcing those zealots to go actually away from the mineral line and push in this direction. This is going to allow his units to kind of sit back here and in this direction. And here we go. Big push coming right down. Again, lots of zealots want to see that stim pack go down. Try to snipe down those units. Big force fields, but actually it doesn't really matter because he's still going to be able to go to town on those zealots. Is going to manage to kill all of these guys in this bunker. Actually, no, that one marine does manage to live. Another force field going down, and look at that. BratOk managing to push away these forces. Oh man, a force field right here would have been an absolute beauty. Unfortunately, WhiteRa not doing it. Warping in a few more zealots and going to be continuing to push against this. Stim pack going down. Some great micro right now from BratOk, staying away from those units. Excellent job there. Force field going down, allowing the zealots to move on in, get a couple shots, but not quite enough. And this push has been completely nullified here by BratOk. Great job. Had just enough units to be able to deal with that. Excellent play there by BratOk. And over here inside of WhiteRa's base, what does he got going on? We do see that Robotics Bay making its way on out. Facility sitting right over there. So still with those 3 gates. Going to be getting Colossus sometime soon. But take a look at this discrepancy right here. 49 to 76, man. If we saw a counter push right now from BratOk, he could absolutely devastate. There's tremendous amounts of damage that he could do. Factory Scout going to be making its way on out. We do have that Starport coming down right now. No attachment for that, however. Idle SCVs just kind of chilling out. A little switcheroo going down there. Another depot being dropped. And there we go. Going to be lifting that up. So we're going to be seeing that double medevac and or Viking. And wow, third expo coming down right now for BratOk, dropping that third expo as well as pushing out. Look at this, something I talk about time and time again in my strategy videos, in the lessons that I do, is that a great time to expand is when you push out. And look at that, BratOk pushing out and expanding at the exact same time. Going to buy himself tons of time to expand because his opponent WhiteRa is going to be incredibly distracted. But again, look at this army tab. Big difference. This is actually a really huge push right now from BratOk. If he can get in there before, actually there's no Colossus. There's a Colossus on the board. No, there is not. WhiteRa is in a lot of trouble. Force fields need to go down, and they in fact have. That's the only thing saving him right now. He needs to come out with the Colossus as soon as possible. Very Vespian starved. This is a huge problem right now. BratOk just has unbelievable amounts of forces right now. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he started whittling away at those back rocks because, he could do quite a bit of damage. Now, we see him pushing back right now, and actually, unfortunately, this is kind of a mistake. I suppose he's in the position where he obviously knows WhiteRa is going to be able to. WhiteRa is a good enough player. He's going to be able to force field this ramp continuously. And I think at this point, BratOk's thinking that he could just not push in at all. But look at this, going to be seeing some drop harass going down. And I think WhiteRa did manage to catch wind of that. I am almost 100% positive that he saw that going down. Here comes his factory scout moving on over. But we're going to see just how much damage he does. He needs to be careful not to get spotted. He wants to push in the front with these forces, or at least threaten a push, and then pull down with this drop. And look at that, not being spotted right now. So great job there by BratOk. BratOk transferring some of these workers down to this next expansion. Actually, I'm surprised he's coming down with the orbital as opposed to that planetary fortress. Going to be a little bit difficult to defend this otherwise, but either way, so here we go. Push coming down, at least at the very least, like I mentioned, trying to threaten it and going to be dropping at the exact same time. This is a very, very effective tactic. We'll just see how effective BratOk can be with it. Not a lot of forces sitting right here for BratOk. Here comes that drop, moving down and pulling all those guys off the line. The entire bit of the army of WhiteRa moving away, and here comes that push right inside of his main base as a result. Moving down to deal with this snipe going down on that Colossus. Great job there by BratOk, microing away from all those units, grabbing all these forces, pulling into this expansion. This is not looking good for WhiteRa at all. He's got one Colossus on the way. He's got nothing warping in. Oh, snipe going down on that Robotics facility, and there is the GG, and good job. So good game and good job for BratOk indeed. This was a great series. Looks like BratOk did prevail, so Terran wins in this particular show match. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these games. If you did, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And as always, guys, keep watching and keep owning.